every research study, one of the most important steps is gathering the right data. Without proper data, a research project can't provide accurate answers or reliable conclusions. That's why data collection plays a crucial role in the research process. According to Tahirdu's 2021, data collection is defined as the process of collecting data aiming to gain insights regarding the right topics. It's not just about gathering information randomly, it's about gathering the right information in the right way for the right purpose. Now, when we say data collection methods, we're talking about the various techniques or tools by researchers to obtain the information they need. These methods are carefully selected based on the type of research, the objectives, and the kind of data required. Some of the most commonly used data collection methods include survey and questionnaires, interviews, observation, focus groups, document analysis, and experiments. Each of these has its strengths and is used in different types of research situations. It's important to remember that these methods are more than just steps in the process. They are the bridge between the research questions and the final results. By using these methods properly, researchers can gather reliable and meaningful data that help them analyze patterns, explore relationships, and either support or refute their hypothesis. In the end, it's through solid data collection that a study becomes not just informative, but credible, accurate, and impactful. So now let's proceed to learn more about each of these methods in detail as presented by the next speakers.
Next one is the method details. First is surveys and questionnaires. Surveys and questionnaires are tools designed to systematically collect information from a group of individuals by asking a series of questions. This method is one of the most widely used in both academic and business research because it allows the collection of data from a large number of people in a relatively short amount of time. Surveys can be administered online, on paper, by phone, or in person. They are particularly useful when researchers need to measure attitudes, behaviors, opinions, or characteristics across a sample population. The consistency in the questions allows for comparison and statistical analysis. However, a common limitation is that some participants may provide socially desirable responses rather than truthful ones, which could affect the validity of the results. The next one is interviews. Interviews involve direct, face-to-face or virtual interactions where the researcher asks open or close-ended questions to gather deep insights from participants. Interviews are particularly effective for exploring complex topics, gaining a deeper understanding of participants' experiences, and clarifying responses. They can be structured with set questions, semi-structured with some flexibility, or unstructured, more conversational. This flexibility allows the interviewer to probe further based on participants' responses. The major advantage is that the depth of data collected. However, interviews are time-consuming and can be less reliable due to potential interviewer bias or influence. Additionally, because participants know that they are being interviewed, they may be less likely to reveal sensitive or personal information.
Observation method definition. This method is when a researcher watches people or situations directly and carefully, and then record what they see. The goal is to study behavior that can be measured, like actions or reaction. One advantage of observations is that they take place in the participants' everyday environmental, gaining highly valid information of their natural behavior. However, The disadvantage, if the observer is overly watching, then it can lead to the observer affect as participants may change their behavior, even without realizing.
Focus group discussion. Focus group gather a small group or participants to discuss a topic in a structured facilitated setting to explore their perception, belief, or attitude. This method allows for a dynamic interaction among participants, where they can respond to one another ideas and build on each other insight. It is especially useful for collecting qualitative data on a public opinion, product, feedback, or social issue. Diverse viewpoints can emerge through discussion, offering research information, individual interviews. However, focus group might limit openness, particularly when discussing sensitive issues, because participants may feel judged by others. Also, dominant participants may influence the group, reducing the diversity of opinion shared.
Document analysis. Document analysis is a systematic procedure for reviewing or evaluating documents, printed in electronic, computer-based, and internet-transmitted material. This method is used to gather information from existing records such as books, reports, newspaper, meeting minutes, emails, or official data sets. It is especially valuable in historical research, case studies, and legal or policy analysis. Document analysis provides insight into the context, background, and development of a topic over time. It is cost-effective since the data already exists and does not require direct interaction with participants. However, the quality of analysis depends on the availability, credibility, and relevance of the documents. There is also the risk of information overload when too many documents are involved.
Experiments involve manipulating one or more variables, independent variables, to observe their effect on other variables, which is dependent variables, typically in controlled conditions. Experiments are the cornerstone of scientific research and are highly effective in testing hypotheses and in establishing cause and effect relationships. They are especially useful in fields like psychology, medicine, and natural science. Researchers can isolate specific factors and observe the direct effect, making the data more objective and reliable. Experiments can be conducted in labs or in field settings depending on the goals. However, their major limitations is that they may not account for all variables in real-life situations, making it difficult to generalize the findings. Ethical considerations also arise, especially if participants are not fully informed or if the treatment involves risks.
In the study entitled Field Testing for Rapid Survey Method to Assess the Prevalence and Causes of a Hearing Loss. So in this study, hearing loss is a major public health issue, especially in low and middle income countries, where access to ear and hearing care services is limited. There was a need for a quick, low-cost, and reliable method to assess how widespread hearing loss is and what is the causes of this. So the study had two main goals, so kindly read. The first one is to report on the feasibility of conducting the RAHL survey. The second one is to estimate the prevalence and causes of a hearing loss. So on the two selected data collection methods, which is the survey and questionnaire and the experiments. So the first one is the survey and questionnaire. So this survey and questionnaire has to gather the same type of data from every participant, making it easier to compare results. It is also help to understand and know their personal experiences and whereabouts, like to know their age, their gender, health history, and exposure to noise or infections that might affect their hearing. So in this study, the survey and the questionnaire was especially designed to include questions that help identify possible causes of hearing loss. So the next one is a experiment. So in this research, they used it to test the RAHL tool in the real world conditions. They needed to find out if the method would still work outside of controlled research environments like in rural communities or public health settings. A key part of the experiment was training non-special health workers to perform hearing tests using mobile tools and to conduct ear examinations. So using these methods like using survey questionnaires help the researcher to gather background and self-reported data. So the experiment naman is it is helpful because to test the practical and performance and reliability of the hearing assessment in real-life settings.
In conclusion, choosing the right data collection method is essential in research because it affects the accuracy and reliability of the result. When your method matches your research topic, you're more likely to gather useful and relevant data. For instance, surveys are effective for understanding students' hearing habits, or experiments are better for testing tools like hearing assessment in real-life settings. A well-chosen method ensures valid result and helps you answer your research question clearly and effectively.